Hello, it's Alina GG, and I have a very special guest today. Welcome aboard, Ella Worsley.
Hello, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. You are a facilitator of growth and transformation through a few different channels, including retreats and your wonderful podcast. What lights you up? What inspires you? Let's just start there.
I think like life inspires me. I think, although we can have, we've had a pretty interesting couple of weeks and there's been a lot going on in Australia and globally. And there's, there's always hard times in life. I think, the human spirit inspires me. I think, yeah, life every day inspires me. Kindness inspires me. Growth inspires me. Miracles inspire me. Like, I feel I do get inspired every day. I love listening to podcasts and I love watching documentaries about people that just overcome incredible things and, the hero story, so to speak. So, listening to and witnessing people go through beautiful journeys in their life absolutely inspires me so much. And I try and, inspire myself through the life that I live as well.
Yeah, okay. And so when you begin your day, do you have a certain ritual in the morning that really plugs you in?
Yeah, definitely meditation. Just that quiet, still, spacious moment of just like that deep inhale, that slow exhale, where I just come back to my center. I love, setting an intention around what I want for my day. I love to read as well. So I love to kind of fill my mind with some new facts and some educational pieces in the morning. So reading, meditation, and movement are my three things that I love to do. And then yeah, it really just sets me up for the day. It really kind of conditions my mind and my body for that success that I want to call in for the day. And it's just that time to give to me before I give to anybody else.
That's so important. Yeah, definitely. I notice the days where I don't have mostly I do have time for that because I know how important it is as well. But the days where I don't, I find that my brain is a bit foggier and I'm just not as clear with my thoughts and not as focused on what I need to do or not as plugged into my intuition.
Mm.
Have you always felt quite connected with your intuition or has that been a journey for yourself?
Absolutely been a journey. Absolutely. I had to kind of get rid of the things that I was listening to internally that weren't true first. And I think connecting to our intuition, there has to be space for the guidance and the wisdom to really land as well. So, when we're so busy and we're constantly doing and we're constantly in that fight or flight stress mode, it can be really hard to tune into that beautiful internal guidance that is always available to us as well. So I had to learn how to regulate, to slow down, to be with myself, to sit in moments of stillness as well, and to be comfortable in that. And then through that, I've been able to really tune into that internal GPS that I do have, that we all have, and actually know when that's talking versus when fear or doubt might be talking.
Yeah, and how do you have any tips for the listeners on how to decipher between the two?
Is this coming from love? Is a really beautiful question. I love to ask myself. I'm just noticing. If there's a thought coming through, like, is this coming from love? Is this coming from a really beautiful aligned space, or is this coming from fear? Because if the voice is coming from fear and it's coming from that disempowering space, and it might not always be your intuition, and it also might be as well. But I think tuning into your body and noticing how the statements or the guidance feels within your body, and journaling can be a really beautiful way of being with our thoughts too, like asking yourself a question, putting pen to paper and just writing and just seeing what comes down. But sitting in those moments of just being with yourself, and the more that you do it, the more you'll be able to discern, where is this coming from? And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if we're in a stress state, kind of receiving that as well, the chances are that we're receiving that from a fear state as well. So when we're regulated, when we're feeling calm, when we're feeling good within ourselves, we're going to be more receiving that kind of guidance because that's the internal state that we're in that moment as well.
Okay, great. And do you find then if people are in becoming in a fear state or flight or fright that there's often an inner child wound connected with that?
Yeah, definitely can be. Absolutely. I think inner child work is so important. And it's sometimes in those moments, our inner child is just scared, is just needing reassurance, is sitting in a lot of uncertainty, and is just needing, mum or dad to come in and tell us that we're okay. Because even though we grow up physically emotionally, mentally, we get all of these responsibilities, we get gray hair and wrinkles. It doesn't mean that we don't have that inner child within us that sometimes just needs that reassurance. And, a lot of people are walking around as adults, but, are showing up as children because that emotional maturity hasn't developed because of X, Y, and Z that's happened in their life. So, yeah, inner child work is a really important part of the puzzle.
Yeah, great. And just what are some really practical tools that if someone said, okay, I just want to heal my inner child a bit more, where do I start?
I think, first of all, if there's been a traumatic child upbringing, and if you can't remember a lot of things, like working with a professional, I do always recommend, because it's beautiful to be held in that. We can only guide ourselves so far, and so having someone come in that knows what they're doing, that can gently just hold us as we open up, as we allow, as we feel, is a really beautiful experience. Hypnotherapy, I love tapping into that subconscious mind and talking to our inner child through the state of hypnosis. Meditation's another thing that we can do as well. Journaling, so writing to our inner child and having a bit of a discussion with them through a beautiful letter. We can do some self-talk as well. So we can just sit and rock and just talk to ourselves. You're safe, it's okay, I'm here, I love you, all is well. So just having that little conversation and just self-soothing, whether it's just giving yourself a little gentle stroke and just being with yourself. But yeah, hypnotherapy, meditation, going to a workshop, working with a practitioner, and yeah, writing yourself a letter or doing something like that are some wonderful ways that we can start to just build that relationship with our inner child.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing all of that. And now I'm just wondering about your retreats, because I was having a look. They look so amazing. And I was wondering what brings the women there, and what sort of transformations do they have when they're there?
Beautiful. People come for all kinds of reasons. And, we say that the retreat will give the person that comes exactly what they need. And we truly stand by that as well, because whether it's grieving from the loss of a parent to a loss of a child, whether it's sexual experiences that weren't asked for, whether it's abandonment, whether it's heartache, there's a whole range of things, and we've basically seen everything that you could basically name in terms of trauma come through the door. Um, and some people come through with lots of different things because everyone's experienced things, and we haven't always had the time and the space to really heal them as well, because it's great to go and have a therapy session for an hour here or an hour there, but we know that subconsciously we've got to then go back into our everyday life. We've got kids to go and pick up from school. We've got to organize dinner. So that unraveling and that really allowing ourselves to just open up can't always happen in that short amount of time. Now, what happens at retreats is we have 5 to 6 days where we can just really allow that opening to unfold. And there's nowhere else to be. There's nothing else to do. And your meals are all taken care of. Everything is done. All you need to do is show up. And what we see in that is just anything that's kind of below the surface. We just kind of like open up the lid and just see what's there. But we see all kinds of things coming up, all levels of healing in a transformation. And from there, people go back home and they, leave workplaces, leave relationships, call in new relationships. We see big transformation on an external level happening once the internal stuff has kind of fallen into place and we've done that work. So yeah, it's an internal journey, but afterwards, externally, lots shifts afterwards as well.
Fantastic. I think that's so important. And I myself have been on a few retreats and gotten so much out of them, and just a reset and learning new healthy habits that you can take away with you, and reframing
Absolutely.
certain things that have happened in our lives, because sometimes we just get stuck telling the same story over and over and over. And it's
Mm,
okay. It's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's like, you know what? I'm ready for a new script. I'm ready to rewrite my story now, and
yeah.
have a new take on it, and let it go. And it's easy to say, oh, let the past go. It's in the past. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Eckhart told Power of Now. But it's like, I really, that we need to sort of give it the space and see it and honor it and be held and seen and
Validate it.
expressed. Yeah, validate it. And then we can
Yeah,
just,
that something
yeah.
did happen and it has been hard and we have carried it for a certain amount of time and it's okay. And just that's a part of like the inner child work that we do at the retreat, is really just validating those experiences as well. Because, for the 5-year-old that is told by their best friend, I don't want to be your best friend anymore. That's traumatic. That's heartbreaking. There can be abandonment that's experienced there. That can be a really significant event in that 5-year-old's life. Whereas the adult that's looking in, or the adult self that we now are, looks back and is like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But to that little small child it was as well. So it is going back and just really validating all of those experiences and really just finding peace with the past and just saying, okay, things have happened. I'm acknowledging it. I'm feeling it. I'm finding my lessons and learnings, and I'm finding that peace with it now.
Mm. Just picking up on the abandonment wound, which I feel
Mm,
I heard something recently. There's two main fears, that we're inadequate or that we are going to be abandoned, right?
mm.
And it's like, well, how do we start healing that? It can be really hidden under the surface. Okay, there's inner child work. Is there another way that you think is useful for that one?
I love attachment styles when it comes to relationships, because obviously, when we look at abandonment, you know, people that generally have that wound will have like an anxious attachment style that they're kind of playing into as well. And so they will be trying to like hold on to all of those relationships. They'll be seeking a lot of reassurance, which if they're then relating with avoidance style people, then those people usually pull back when they feel that people grabbing on, and so there's that beautiful dance of like pulling back and then that person wanting to latch on even further as well. So I think really looking at attachment styles can be a really beautiful thing with abandonment wounds, because we really want to start to really build safe and secure relationships. And when we can start to build safe and secure relationships, and we can start to have those people around us that really allow us to feel safe, to feel seen, where we can be vulnerable, where we can be supported, it can start to really heal those past experiences where that person didn't show up or that person left us, because we start to really recreate a new normal for ourselves. So definitely looking at attachment styles and just finding those people for you and starting to really build those relationships. Obviously, there's a lot of internal work and healing and things that go alongside that as well, but safe and secure relationships are a key part of it, in my opinion.
Mm. Yeah, that's really nice to have that intention and to start calling that in. And so let's just say you find yourself in a safe and secure conscious relationship, and then that abandonment wound, you still feel it sitting there. Like, what's another way to shift that energy?
Going and doing some healing around it. Where did it come from? What was the experience that it was birthed from? Is there a particular significant event that happened that led to that coming up? Because everything comes from somewhere. Babies aren't born with abandonment wounds. Babies are born sitting in that space of love and acceptance and like, I'm the greatest thing ever. Who wants to hug me? Who wants to who wants to burp me? Who wants to do the things? And so when we look at babies and puppies and just how lovable they are and how much they know that they are worthy, somewhere along the way after that something happens and we come a little bit away from our path, and we start to maybe develop these feelings of unworthiness, or we start to experience things where we have that abandonment. So it's going back to the root cause of where these experiences have come from and doing some work around that. Maybe there's an element of talk therapy with that. Maybe it's working with some holistic healing modalities. Maybe there's just some crying. Maybe there's some tough conversations we need to have with a family member that did that to us, and just allowing ourselves to be witnessed in, hey, I know that this happened 20 years ago, but I'm still holding on to this, and I just really want to presence that that time that you did X, Y, and Z, like it really hurt me. Like I just really love to be witnessed in this, because I'm really wanting to clear this now. So there can be so many different ways, and it really does, I guess, come back to the individual experience and what the person went through.
Thank you. And just pivoting now to your podcast, it's called Wildly Worthy, and also connecting with what you were just speaking about. How can people increase their self-worth? What's a specific way there that people can do that?
Again, coming back to, why do I not feel worthy?
Mm.
What are the life experiences? What are things that have happened that have made me feel this way? And sometimes it's not always life experiences that have happened. Maybe we've grown up in a household where mum didn't feel worthy, and so we've been modeled that from mum's behaviors, and we've just taken that on board, and subconsciously we've kind of developed this unworthy behavior or this way of being, because we've kind of witnessed that growing up from the people around us as well. So it can be a combination of our own lived experiences and the things that we've been through, but also the things that we've witnessed in the environments that we've been present in as well. So it's unlearning the things that we've learned, and also healing the things that we've experienced, and then just starting to integrate that new worthiness. So what would it look like for me to show up in that worthiness piece today? Well, how would I hold myself? How would I take care of myself? What are the standards that I'm going to set in my relationships? What are my boundaries? What am I saying no to? And it's just practicing kind of showing up in these new ways and doing these things. And there'll be times where we can retract a little bit, and then we can step forward and step back and go forward. But again, just, asking ourselves every day, what would it look like for me to show up as wildly worthy today? What would it look like for me to show up like this in the relationship? What would it look like for me to really work, value and my worth in my workplace? Am I being bullied? Am I needing a promotion? Am I being talked to in the wrong way? Like, how can I start to draw the line in the sand, to stand up for myself and to really anchor in what it is that I need moving forward?
Yeah, great. Thank you. That's really useful. Like, yeah, tuning into what does it look and feel like for, me to stand up fully in my worth. And yeah, that might be something I've never fully experienced before. And yeah, that's definitely a journey. Yeah.
Absolutely, because I look at how in Australia has tall poppy syndrome as well. So people that are proud and loud and really anchored into their worth and their worthiness and really loving themselves. Like it hasn't always been celebrated here within Australia, and I'm sure globally. We look at people that are doing really well, and there can be this undercurrent of envy almost sometimes as well. So there is that, oh, I don't want to shine too bright, I don't want to stand too tall, I don't want to love myself too much because I'm maybe going to get the wrong kind of attention. I know when I was in school, there was little kids that would bully other kids, like, oh, so and so loves themselves, and like that was a thing that was bullied in my school growing up. So I unconsciously learned, oh, I don't really want to love myself because so and so is getting bullied over there because of that. So that's not something I want to experience. How do I step into not doing that?
Oh no. Oh my gosh. So what led you to this work then? What can you share anything that you've
Yeah.
overcome? Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle, just a little trigger warning. My uncle was murdered when I was 6 years old, and so my family kind of plummeted into a lot of darkness after that. And I had, yeah, a really hard, probably 15 years afterwards. I had near-death experiences. I was bashed. I've gone through abortions and pregnancy loss. I've been cheated on. I had, my parents really break down mentally and emotionally for a lot of my life, and just, weren't able to be there for me the way that I wanted them to. So yeah, I really grew up feeling like I wasn't worthy and I wasn't good enough because of a lot of the experiences that I experienced. And there was just so much pain and suffering in my upbringing. There was so much anxiety, there was so much depression. I was turning to substances and alcohol to kind of fill the void that I was feeling within myself. I was seeking my worth in relationships, in men, and also within, the corporate world, really wanting to achieve and do all of these things, because if I do all of these things and I have this certain life, I might be worthy then. I might be deemed good enough. So yeah, in a really short little fragment of time, I've been through a lot of things, and it's my lived experiences that have led me to the work that I do today.
Thank you for sharing. That's yeah, very touching. And yeah, I guess and now coming back to the self-worth piece, we're not defined by our job or by our house or by a relationship. It's
Mm.
underneath that, isn't it? It's deeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
I think we can think that it's all these external things. I'll be worthy when I lose weight. I'll be worthy when I have X amount of money in the bank. I'll be worthy when I get that promotion. I'll be worthy when I have a relationship. We can think that all of these things externally are going to make us feel a certain way. And there's this constant chasing and trying to find. But yet we come back to realizing that it's in us all along.
Mm. It's always been there.
It's always been there.
Great. That's worth celebrating.
Yeah,
It's good to
definitely.
remember. Do you think sometimes I feel like I sometimes say this with my partner? We say, "Oh, I forgot myself," or we forget ourselves, because then when we come back to love and we remember who we really are and how amazing life is, it's like, oh, that's right. I remember. I come from source. I'm pure source energy, and then it's like we go on this little head trip. It's like I forget who I am
Absolutely.
and feel like I'm playing small or I'm not good enough, and then it's like, well, hang on, let's just create that space, I suppose, where meditation and yoga and relaxation comes in handy. And today I listened to your beautiful relaxation on Insight Timer. That was lovely, the 11-minute one.
Amazing.
That was really good.
Amazing.
Thank you. I want to listen to more of that. That was all of the, because you've got lots on your link tree, lots of wonderful offerings there. So I
Yeah.
recommend all of those to tap into. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
was
I
there
love
anything else?
meditation.
Yeah, definitely. You can't go wrong. It's like essential for everybody, and it'd be great if all schools taught it. I know some have started teaching it now, haven't they, for kids? Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets us into that resourceful space. When we're in a resourceful space, we can see things clearly. We can, see the possibilities and the opportunities, and we can see the ways to solve the problems. Where when we're not in that resourceful space, it's like we're blindfolded and we're just kind of seeing the problems. So, meditation is just a way to come back to, oh, I am powerful, I am resourceful, and I have so much more capabilities than I realize. And okay, I'm remembering now. Cool, I'm seeing things differently. What can I do from here?
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah,
And so is there anything front of mind for you at the moment that you want to share before you head off?
just I think pending when this episode airs, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I was listening to the foreign minister talk. I don't watch a lot of news, but I saw something from her sharing that we're like living through the hardest time since the end of World War II. I think economically, but also, just, yeah, globally, there's just so much going on at the moment too. So as we navigate through, uncertain times and a lot going on externally, just that reminder to go within, just to create that intentional time, and to look to whatever higher power it is that you look to, and just to take that time to really put that faith in something above yourself, and put that faith in humanity, and put that faith back into yourself, and just to remember that life is beautiful and this too shall pass, and sometimes it is darkest before dawn. And if we're not creating that space to breathe and to slow down and to tap into those internal resources, then life's going to be so much harder. So doing whatever you need to do right now, and whether that is not looking at the news and hopping off social media, like doing whatever it is that you need to do to move through this period and this season that we're all navigating through, and just to remember the good and to find the good in every day, and to find the play and to find the laughter and to find the things that really light you up, because that's truly what matters in life.
Well said. Well, thank you, Ella. And how can people best get in touch with you and find you?
I will potentially pass some little links onto you for show notes, and if there's anything you pop low. But yeah, I'm on Insight Timer. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I've got a website, the Enlighten Co. We run retreats and all kinds of things. Wildly Worthy podcast. So yeah, you can find me if you find me on Instagram at Ella Worsley. You can usually find everything through there.
Thank you so much. Well, have a beautiful day.
Thank you.